I had Hi. I had a topic lined up for today, but considering the current situation or the current events that took place just the other day, I think I'll speak on rape and the disgusting society we live in. And I want to draw your attention to man, I'm even rambling. I don't know. But I'll just go and speak out my mind. I want to draw your attention to the young ones, the little girls that cannot speak for themselves, little girls that are afraid of speaking for themselves. I don't know if it's afraid, threatened, because when you're young, I think you're easily threatened. And I will go back to my first experience with okay, now knowing it today would have led to rape. So when I was very young, growing up, I was taught by my mom to just be careful around boys. Of course, she didn't mention why I was to be careful around boys. So she mentioned that men are not nice, dress well. I remember when I was so young, I loved to overdo my dresses. Like when I started to grow tall, I'd still wear those dresses that um, I still fit in. But in this case, they were very short because I was growing tall, but I wasn't growing like plum. So they still fit, but they were very short. So I remember one time we had that talk with my mom, and she was like, you're growing up, you're becoming a big girl now. You shouldn't wear dresses that expose so much of you. I know I know you feel like they make you look even better, but you're beautiful no matter what you're wearing. So we had that conversation, and I remember one time, I don't know where my big brother was, but we'd been left with my younger sister, and the there was a neighbor. There was a neighbor who was supposed to come and take care of some cow stuff. Yes? So we'd been told to lock ourselves in the house, right? This is in the village. So we'd been told to lock ourselves in the house, and when he comes, we just tell them to proceed and go do their thing. So, of course, being a young girl, you don't want to entirely listen to what you're being told. So instead of locking ourselves in the house, I think I was outside. I don't know what I was doing outside. So the guy comes and then he asks me, he's looking at me. Now that I think back to it, it was in a funny way. He's telling me, can I take him down there to the cows? He needs my help with something. And I remember, instinctively just saying no. And I can't say it instinctively really, but I said no. I was a very talkative girl. I was outgoing. I always spoke my mind since I was really young. So I said no. He said, why? But I need your help. I said no. I'm just a little girl. You don't need my help with anything. And then he said if I didn't help him that he wasn't going to finish, and my mom was going to complain about what wasn't done. I said my mom does not expect me to do anything with you, so just do what you can. Whatever you want me to do, just, I don't know, tell my mom I couldn't do it with you. And I went back to the house, and when I think back to that moment, I cringe, because this man, obviously, being a little girl, I wouldn't have had any reason to doubt him or doubt his intentions. He was a neighbor. His brother was a pastor. It was a family I thought was, proper. So even if I went and something had happened to me, then I wouldn't, in that moment, I wouldn't have seen it coming. If it wasn't just me being tried to be a little girl who speaks her mind and says no. But I dread what would have happened then. Going forward, I never had any story of them. Did I hear any story of them? I think they would later break up with the wife because he was cheating or some shit like that. Anyway, just to let you know that their morals were not upright. Going forward to when I was in class 8, my mom got sick. And no, before my mom got sick, there was this specific teacher. My mom was tutoring his young kids who are in lower primary. And then, because he was my English teacher then, he was supposed to tutor me. And I was a very good writer in upper primary. Let me just say upper primary because that's when I noticed I was a good writer. So he was supposed to tutor me, and then instead of getting paid to tutor me, my mom would tutor his kids, right? So he'd give me like extra assignments outside of the classwork, and I'd do it. And usually when I would write, I would get candies. Like he'd give me candies. No wonder I don't have teeth today. Anyway, he'd give me candies, like, and the young girl I thought of it as reward for my good work. And then my mom got sick, and one time my mom didn't come to school. And my mom had been given a place where she'd be like making lunch and stuff like that if she got to school early. Like she had a room in school where it was like a kitchenette for her because she really loved fresh food and to cook, not to order from a restaurant. So she'd go there, prepare us lunch, or just something to snack on maybe at 10 a.m. And I remember one time she didn't come to school because she was sick. And I remember this idiot of a man asking me if, hey, I was wondering, do you have the key to your mom's small room? And I said, well, yes. That was early in the morning when I had just gotten to school. And then he said, after school, would you mind staying and helping me with the key? There's something I need to do there. I said, no, I don't think my mom will approve of this. Yes? So now, like this, even right now speaking about this makes me so mad. Because now, after my mom got sick and so much happened, like my mom got sick, we sort of left that school and then we came back to that school. When now we came back to the school, the head teacher calls me to the office and is like, I wanted to talk to you because I understand so-and-so was tutoring you. And I said, okay. And he said, I wanted to ask you, has something ever happened between you two? And I was like I was so young, so I don't know what has happened between you two. I said, nothing has ever happened. He said, okay, tell me about your experience. Of course, I explained how I used to do homework and stuff like that, and I would get like candy for everything that I did. Like, not for everything that I did, like I'd get candy for when I submitted something and I got a good score for it. And that's it. Then I would later hear this man was touching girls inappropriately. Like he was touching some of my classmates inappropriately. And here is why I never got to deal with that. Because at the moment I was dealing with my mom's passing. So I never got around to really focus on what was going to happen to me. Like if I had said yes to him asking me about the key, like, was he going to rape me? Like, I am so disgusted just thinking back to that moment. And this idiot of a person, I was in the same class with his son. You understand? So I was old enough to be his child. But just thinking that he would think to even ask me for the key. Do you understand? Like, he would think of that, right? So fast forward, those are the two traumatic cases I hold to my first experiences with what would have been rape, right? And then here comes, so after my mom passes, we are shipped to live with my auntie, and And of course, my auntie lived by herself. Like, she lived by herself. Her husband lived elsewhere with the other wife. And so we were mostly just with my auntie. So if she wasn't home or walking around to her shambas, we were just home. And my other experience with attempted rape came from relatives. It came from children of my cousins. Children of my cousins. Like you'd get left alone, and then someone would just, wow, do I want to talk about this? I never got raped in that house. I never got raped, but was there attempted rape? Like, was there someone like talking to you in a way they shouldn't, or maybe touching you inappropriately sometimes? Yes. And wow. Anyway, let me not deep dive into that. I don't think that's a topic that I've dealt with entirely myself. But what? I think I'll come on here and really talk about that when I'm mentally even ready. Anyway, but my lesson from all that was, like, I wish parents knew, one, to protect their little ones, and that's even from the very immediate family members, cousins. You see those cousins you ship your kids to go stay with for holidays. Your little girl, she's a teenager. Of course, she's a teenager. She started growing. She started to look now like a woman. I mean, in the 15s, 16s, high, like form 1, form 2 there. Your kid closes school, and the first thing you want to do is ship them to stay with some cousin. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, seriously, I keep your kids at home. And then if I were to talk about why I wasn't raped earlier on in those two other experiences, one, it is because I think my mom had instilled that be cautious around men. So if I was going to be alone with you in a place, that was going to ring like a red light in my head, and I would be like, no, my mom, like, I will refuse. Even if I'm not refusing for me because I'm a little girl, I'll say my mom said, or I'll say my mom will not agree to it. Like, teach your kids, I don't know, be a safe space, because I feel like my mom was my safe space. And then be a safe space for your children. That's one. And then two, like, speak to your children. Allow them to be able to speak to you in a way that if anything happens to them, like, you can't be with your child every minute. Honestly, you can't be with your child every minute, and you want to be a safe space where children can express themselves to you. And the reason I'm saying this is the auntie I was living with at the time, can you imagine? She was always so fierce and so unpleasant that I couldn't tell her that so and so came and I didn't like how they engaged with me. Like, it is so sad. Like, and this said person up to date, they wonder why I don't like them. Because I didn't feel safe in their house. I didn't feel protected. Like, they were supposed to be a guardian, but it is from their own people. Like, can you imagine shipping your child to a place where they're supposed to be protected, and yet in that same household is where you get wow, is where you get exposed to all dangers and sin, right? And then these same people, this same auntie was busy telling people that, oh, so and so has a boyfriend. I didn't even have a boyfriend. I didn't even talk to, like, I didn't even have a boyfriend. Can you imagine? And this said person was busy saying, oh, so and so has a boyfriend. Like, you see those bad mouthing you, so and so has become rude. I think she started talking to boys. Like, how can you say that? Like, what is the right way to handle your teenager growing up? Like, if they're becoming rude or defiant, like, I feel like that's a cry for help for most teenagers. Like, shouldn't you then sit down and try to establish, like, what's their problem? And I wasn't becoming defiant. I was just refusing the extra work that we were being given. Man, I'm not your slave. I am a child. What's up? Huh? What's up? So anyway, before I digress, I don't feel like I've entirely handled this topic. But one, protect your little ones. I'm glad that when you're a big girl now, like you can see the advances and see that this person is advancing in the wrong way, and you can say no to some nonsense in the beginning. But then in the case of that woman, like, men, seriously, like, why are you so disgusting? Like, who, how, like, why? Honestly, like, why you have a wife, one, like, you have a wife, and even if you don't, like, on it, like, I can't understand why someone would sit down and think it is okay to make sexual advances to a young girl. Maybe if you rape a young girl, you don't deserve to live. For me, you deserve to die. Like, just die. Like, get out of the earth. Earth does not deserve to have someone like you. If you are able to, like, extend sexual advances to a young girl, you should be dead. And I'm not even afraid to say this. Two, if you're, like, extending sexual advances to like a woman like me, who is clearly, one, not interested in you, two, not your anything, and then how do you meet someone and you want to rape them? Like, honestly, you are sick. You need to seek help. And then I feel like the society also encourages such men because, one, they don't go reprimanded, they don't get reprimanded for their nonsense. Two, I don't, like, if I go to tell someone so and so expressed, like, so and so made these advances towards me, they'll look at me like I am the dirty one. I am not a good woman. I did not carry myself well around that. Like, why are we not handling the problem? The problem is the man. Huh? Because sometimes, man, and I know every woman can bear me witness, you'll be minding your own business. And then here is this idiot who thinks you're a sex object. Huh? Why? Like, is it the society that is not raising the men right? Is it the society that is not, like, is it the laws of the society we live in that don't punish? Or I don't know, because I feel like if one man was really goodly punished for doing this nonsense, and it was made a thing that if you're caught in this nonsense, you will actually not go to jail, because I feel like going to jail and being released is, I mean, who, anyone can go to jail and get released. Like, what? I feel like there should be a serious punishment for these things. Honestly. Like, how do you interfere with someone's dignity and then you roam around just chilling? Weirdly, these kids of my cousins who used to do that nonsense, right now that we're big people, they still want to talk to me and pretend nothing happened. Man, go fuck yourself. Don't talk to me. Like, seriously, go. Like, don't. We're not friends. We are not friends. And I wasn't the problem. You're the problem. You're the one without a good brain. Because how do you find a child, eh, who is only living with their auntie as a guardian, and then you're my auntie's grandchild, but your first thought, first of all, I'm in that house not because I want to, because I've been shipped there as a young child. Two, how is it that you think that it is appropriate to now start making your sexual advances towards me? Like, at this point, I think even your parents didn't raise you right. Right? It's honestly very disgusting. Men should be told to keep their hands to themselves and to keep their things to themselves. Okay? What? I think rape in Kenya is something that doesn't get the attention it needs from the people that would make an impact and change. And the trauma it leaves behind is long term. It is really long term. And some of those things you don't ever get to deal with them. You just put them in a box. And for a very long time you think you're the problem and you question yourself. But I think the most relieving thought is that you are never the problem. You are never the problem. Someone, like, it's just to not blame the victim. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Just, men, if you see this video, just, it is very, I can't find the right words for a man who tries to push up his sexual needs on a woman who is not their significant other. And even your significant other, I don't know. I think, is there rape in marriages? You guys tell me. Is there rape in marriages? Like, do women, comment down below, do women get raped in marriages? Like, what's your experience? Anyway, I am so sad. I am so heartbroken for the girl that got her clothes removed by boda guys, by the motorbike guys. It brings fear. The same fear, like the same fear is felt by all women across, who, when someone is touching you inappropriately and maybe you have no strength over them, or I don't know. It's just so sad, man. It is just so sad. It is just so sad that this is a society we live in. And I don't know if it's that there's not enough education. Like, can you tell my mind is everywhere and I can't make sense of anything right now? It's just really sad. I think the current parents, educate your children better. Don't just teach your children, your girls, to fear men or to be cautious around men. Like, I'm not saying that shouldn't be taught, but teach your boys as well to just respect women, to be respectful of women, and to respect other people's spaces. Right? Because how can you be a group of, like, there was not even one man who said stop doing that to that woman, or one man who took off their shirt and covered the woman. Like, kwani, what society do we live in? There was not even one man who said, like, if her dress was torn, just don't do that. Like, what? There is not one man who stood up to the other men. Like, what's the worst that could have happened? Like, what worse could have happened to a man who stood up for the woman? And say those men are 5, and extend this to 10, and extend this to every other man standing up for that woman and said, yes, even if she did wrong, or even if an accident happened, that this is not the right way to, what, like, why? I am honestly very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. I am very, very, very disappointed. And I cringe. Knowing knowing this is a society we live in. Anyway, I believe everyone has a friend who is a man. Like, I'll tell my friends, like, this is a conversation I tell my friends, like, yo, just treat the next woman you're dealing with some respect and dignity, right? They're a person, and Even you wouldn't want to be raped, man. Like, even you wouldn't want to be raped or touched inappropriately. Yeah, I guess we'll come back to this topic. We'll come back to this topic. Protect your little ones. Protect your little ones. Have your little ones talk to you and talk to you about their experiences with everyone around them. Sometimes these people that are not raised right from their families. I mean, if you're raping your cousin, will you if you're raping your cousin, will you respect anyone? Like, if you're touching your cousin inappropriately in that same homestead, like, please tell me how you will respect a stranger. How? It's honestly very disgusting. Anyway, let me close this video here so that I don't continue rambling. I will see you soon on another video. Take care of yourself. I'm sending love. I'm sending healing. Healing to anyone who's gone through any... I'm praying healing on you. If you've gone through any... It doesn't have to be rape. You see, people assume rape is penetration. It doesn't have to be penetration. I can even talk to you in a way that you talk to me that makes me feel like disrespected as a woman. So I am sending healing to anyone, any woman who's gone through that experience. And I am sending love and peace. And I am wishing every man love on themselves, because if you loved yourself enough and held yourself in high regard, maybe you would extend some of that love and regard to every woman you deal with, right? Man, it's hard, eh? It's very hard. It's very hard. I'm sending love. I wish you a lovely day. I hope you make your current day always better than the previous day. I wish you all the best. Stay safe.